welcome to Plausible Foolishness. We are the two kings of the Rube Empire, right-wing extremists extraordinaire, enemies of the state, enemies of the deep state, enemies of the deep underground military complex, enemies of the satanic cabal, and the New World Order. I'm the Philosopher King, the Ivory Tower, and I've got a perspective on things. Take it, Ray.
Ladies and gentlemen, I could do this all. Oh! Just kidding.
We lost Ray.
The movie. What? No spoilers. No spoilers. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the strong one, the people's champ, the people's choice. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all had a great Mother's Day weekend. I've got a perspective on things, and unfortunately, sadly, depressingly, regrettably, I have to concede airtime to Dusty.
I got one thing to say to you. That's right. I am the kick-ass Duke. I am the producer, the one, the only, the Dusty. And I am the right hand of the two kings. So we have a perspective on things, and we have a lot to talk about tonight. That's right, we do. There's so much to unpack that happened over the last couple of days, and oh my god, so much to talk about, so much prep to do, so many stories to talk about. Let's get into this thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Matt.
This isn't even a prep show because Ray's here. He's gonna. I just made it a regular show. This is episode 260. I named it "The Iron King Changed His Mind."
Wow.
And we have no idea. And in the notes I put, we have no idea what he's gonna say.
Listen,
and we're scared.
Is that not the title of a king? Is that not the prerogative of the Great One? Is that, hey, listen, I want to do a full show and I want to kick some you-know-whats into the ground. It's game time. Okay, listen, I know you're the provincial king, the guy who rules over this thing most of the time, okay? But every once in a while, the Iron King must go off. And I'm trying to stay calm like a bomb because, boys, today I've got a few things. I got a couple things that I want to cover, and I'm sure you guys have heard of them. But I really want to kind of nail this down. And I want to make a strong profession. I have changed my mind. That rarely happens. Okay, I tend to stick to my guns. I pray that the Lord has given me discernment on certain things. And just it is what it is. But I gotta be real with you. I saw a few things over the week that just really changed my mind on a few things. And I'm not talking about Steven Crowder's vain attempt to be rational with college kids. I'm talking about like real big boy, big kid stuff that actually matters. So just kidding, Crowder. I'm very neutral on you. But anyways,
hey, he makes me laugh. That's why I watch his show.
His shtick is old to me. It's like, meh. But anyways,
it still makes me laugh. So I enjoy that.
As long as it tickles your pickle, man, keep rocking and rolling. You know what I mean? I don't want to take.
Oh yeah.
So here's the deal. I think a couple things need to be brought to fruition. First and foremost, let's stay locally here in the great state of Florida, the greatest state in the union right now. For now, until we have a bad king, because God knows that in the Bible there are good kings and bad kings, and we happen to have a good governor right now, Governor. Did you guys see the fundraising stats for the gubernatorial race of Florida? Did you guys see that by any chance?
I heard him on the Day Show.
So your boy Ron DeSantis, Daddy DeSantis, as he's affectionately called here down in the great state of Florida, has raised $143 million for his campaign. Let me step back for a second. $143 million for his campaign in the great state of Florida. To give perspective, that's like presidential levels of campaign raising. Okay, that's an absurd amount of money. Even for a D-list candidate, let's get real. For a gubernatorial race, have you heard of anybody making $143 million for a gubernatorial race?
Not usually.
Now, you would think with this much intensity for one side, there would be equal and opposite force. Not so much. I think the next person around good old was it Chris Christie made like 9 million so far, and
What is
the
Chris
next person
Christie
made,
freaking still doing?
He's still in politics?
Well, he's under the impression that you can be as flip floppy as any liberal on the planet, because once he was a Republican, then he was an independent, then he's a Democrat, and then I don't know what he is anymore. I think he just wants power.
Clearly.
But yeah, no, I'm good. Wasn't he governor once already? Can't you only be governor one time?
No,
Two terms?
you can run for governor as many times as you want. You just have to have a 4-year gap every 8 years.
Wow, that's terrifying. But yeah, let's keep him out of Florida. But he has no shot.
For sure.
The main, even the
Send him
main
to New York.
Yeah. But long story short, that's a lot of energy. I don't know, man. That's like
Yeah, it's a ton.
it kind of reminds me.
And it's not just a lot of
the
energy. The gap is unheard of.
yeah,
9 million to 143 million. Where have you ever seen that?
Okay. So
Go ahead.
I just looked up who the candidates were on the Democrat side, because I honestly had no idea who was running for governor against DeSantis, because I mean, who would?
Who cares?
But there are 6 candidates running for gubernatorial race in Florida. You have Chris Christie is the front runner, then Nikki Fried. Is it Fried or Fried?
I would pronounce it Fried, but it's spelled Fried.
Yeah, Fried, Fried.
Isn't she like the
I think
agricultural
she's pretty fried.
commissioner or something like that?
Yeah. She's running on this make weed completely legal and whatever platform. I already drive down the road smelling it half the time, and it's awful.
And listen, the kids are getting high, you know. That's a priority.
Seriously, people, just roll up your windows so that nobody else around you has to smell that stank, because it is not a pleasant odor. It's worse. Anyways, Armero Lionheart. No idea what his thing is. Alexa Lungmark, David Nelson Freeman, and Anita Taddeo.
Okay.
Yeah, none of those. No idea. Chris Christie's the only one that's actually doing any real fundraisers. Nikki is like, she's second place, but she's.
So, what's the Democratic platform in Florida other than "we want to groom your kids and smoke pot"? What is it?
Yeah. No, you just kind of nailed it.
Oh, so that's why he's literally absolutely owning them.
Oh, there's actually a Republican running against Ron DeSantis.
Oh, who?
John Joseph Mercicandate.
John Jacob Jingleheimer.
Jingleheimer. Yeah.
That's how long we've been doing this together. We go for the same joke at the same time. That's why
we were all right there. Missed it by 2 seconds.
His joke is our joke too.
His joke is our joke too. Yeah. So long story short, DeSantis is winning Florida. Unless there's magical mules that just show up and make something happen. But I don't think there's enough.
Something like 2,000 of them.
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough people that can't vote in Florida, or dead people for them to make that happen. So.
Well, there's enough dead people.
Well, we don't have the extensive mailing out of ballots.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's what made it possible in those other states.
That's right.
I watched I watched it today. 2,000 Mules. It was very good. Obviously, a lot of moments were staged.
Sure.
Like when he's receiving a call, like they had cameras on him the entire time until he got that call. But whatever. Yeah, whatever. That's typical. Whatever. But the info is just straight up legit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the extent by which just the ballot stuffing, just the mail-in ballot fraud was committed in these 4 states is insane. 4 or 5 states. It was no, it was Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Philadelphia, or so Pennsylvania,
Michigan.
and Michigan. Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
5 states.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's just
Which is exactly what we said on Selection Tuesday.
Yes, but this is legitimate proof.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
More so than any of the Chinese, internet data. That was very interesting. Something worth looking at. This is like 100% proof. The only problem with it is, once the ballots are taken in and they're separated from their envelope, which you have to do because ballots are anonymous, right?
Yep.
We only know that you voted, not what you voted.
Exactly.
It's almost impossible to know, what votes to invalidate. I mean, it is impossible to know what votes to invalidate. You basically have to invalidate all mail-in voting, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sorry. Who
you
doesn't have a
screwed the
driver's
pooch.
license? Who doesn't have a driver's license or an ID? Seriously, who doesn't? If you do, if you're watching this right now and you don't have a driver's license or ID, message me. Just say, hey, I don't have one. I don't need one. Because I don't know how you exist without one.
Well, according to liberals, black people can't find them, so it is what it is.
Even though DMVs are majority and more often than not in black neighborhoods.
Well,
why?
Listen.
Don't know.
There's a video of this dude going around to little idiot white progressives on campus talking about voter ID, and they're all like, "Yeah, they just because it's so hard for them to get them, and it's racist because they don't know where to how to do that." And then they go to black people on the street. Do you know how to get to the DMV? Yeah, it's just down the street, 2 blocks over. So, do you have an ID? Yeah, of course I have it. Do you know anybody who doesn't have an ID? No. Everybody has an ID. You need to have an ID. These people over in the colleges there think that you don't know how to get an ID. Why the hell do they think that? Dang, that's racist.
Right?
Because the left has always been racist. They
exactly
always wanted slavery.
But he's the poor black man.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. It wasn't even voter ID or anything like that. It was the mail-in ballots. So they mailed out all these ballots. All they had to do was get people to collect extras, all the stuff, and then the name is there. It's a legitimate name. It's on the voter roll,
Yep.
And so they just collect them in droves.
Yep.
And then they create this network of people that they pay to drive around to multiple boxes and drop. All they have to drop is like 3 to 5, but they do it over and over and over again. In like one city, they averaged 50 stops per person. They counted. I think it was Philadelphia. They counted 1,100 mules by a very stringent criteria. When they lowered the criteria to what I think is still reasonable, it exploded like crazy. But they did a very stringent criteria. They counted 1,100 mules that averaged 50 stops.
Jeez.
I wonder who funded all that.
Yeah. World Economic Forum. Central banks.
Selection.
Yep.
It was a selection, and you combine that with wonky voting, wonky voting machines. You combine that with literally watching people take ballots from under tables and start counting them magically after they kick all the media out.
You add in them stopping counting in the middle of the night, and then
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
stuff
everybody, go
shows
home.
up, and you get a straight line up overnight.
It's weird. In the middle of the night when everybody's asleep.
You
Strange.
get in
Yeah, it's
Georgia
weird.
where they closed that one place because a pipe had burst, and nothing
Yeah.
of the sort happened.
You mean the toilet flooded?
Yeah.
This is the world we're living in, right? So because of this madness and insanity, it's interesting that this dropped the same week that they dropped the Roe versus Wade decision, which we already talked about last week. But it's interesting that they want to take as much momentum away from that as possible. Like YouTube will not let the 2,000 mules be talked about whatsoever. Dusty, hit it, baby. What'd you get?
So there is more to this Roe v. Wade stuff.
Okay.
There's an added layer of conspiracy to it.
What?
What is unique about this Roe v. Wade? What is the most unique thing about this whole decision?
Besides the fact that it's bunk law, it's life, it's going to stop Moloch worship in America. Yeah,
It actually has nothing to do with the law itself, or
Yeah. We talked
and
about
it was
that.
leaked. It was leaked 9:02 p.m.
Okay.
at T. There's a whole and then at 8:45, Biden even tweets about it.
Well,
How did they know about this leak before it actually was leaked? And who was the one that leaked it? Why? In the last, within
There's
1
only
hour
12
of
people
the,
that it can be, by the way.
yeah,
There's only
21.
12 people that it can be. But we don't know who it is.
Can't figure that out.
within
That's
an
too much.
hour of the leak, the DNC raised $7 million
True.
within 1 hour of the leak.
Hmm.
I wonder why it was leaked. Was it exactly what I said it was? They are trying to, hey, look over here, get riled, get angry. We don't have anything for you to be angry about, so we'll make something make you get angry.
And that's what it is.
Well, yeah, they
You know,
want
we
to
talked about,
they want to pressure, they want to gather some pressure to hopefully overturn this decision before it gets officially released, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think it's possible.
No, it's due to be
They were talking
released
about
on July 2nd, I think.
Yeah.
they were
Secondly,
saying
they want to
only
rile up their base for political reasons, right?
They have to. They
Yeah.
have to.
But and they have no choice but to do it this early because it would only be a month later that the decision would be released. So that's still very early.
Yep. It's too late for them to use that in the political race to raise money and funding. So they have to release it now so they can get the money and funding and get the people riled up.
Yeah, but I think it's still too early to get riled up. It's the October surprise is the thing, you know?
The problem is, what's the surprise? What do they have?
They don't have anything. Yeah, they don't have anything.
I guarantee you what's going to happen is they're going to try to push some bill that legalizes abortion in some way.
They're already trying to do that. They're already
Exactly.
trying to do that.
They're already trying to do it, and it's going to be pushed in October.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to be pushed and be, we need this women's rights to murder babies. We got to be able to murder the babies. There's too many black babies.
It'll get struck down in June. I mean, but Roe versus Wade's going to be gone by June. I mean, you got to think about that, right? So Whatever. I mean, what's the mechanism you can use to overturn a Supreme Court ruling that kicks everything back to the states?
Well, you
All
can
you gotta do is
illegally
make a
protest
law.
outside of the SCOTUS, justices' houses. You could do that.
Yeah.
That's not going to do a
And,
thing.
and,
The
and then you
decision's
could
already
have the
been made.
admin advise people to keep doing an illegal activity.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's
No,
fun.
what?
Real quick, time out of the field, boys. There are 20 of you right now in the chat at Clapper. You got to head over to twitch.tv/plausible foolishness. I love you guys. You're awesome. I love the Clapper Nation. I love the Strong One Nation. But come join the Plausible Foolishness. Come follow these fools. Come hang out with these shenanigans, these guys. You got to hang out. You got to see Dusty. You got to see the mad scientist, Mad Matt. You got to see these guys. They have a unique perspective. We're just a better Steve Day show. So just come hang out with us. We got no Catholics in our group, so just I'm kidding. But no, come hang. Let's have some fun, man.
I'm putting your phone on the microphone.
Yeah, you put your
You
phone
keep
on the
putting your
microphone.
phone on the microphone.
Your voice is diminished
Am I good
considerably.
We good now?
Yeah, we're
That's
better.
better.
Hear me now?
Death
Sorry, man, I get a
Hunter,
little
shout
excited.
out to Death Hunter for voluntarily paying his taxes to the Rube Empire. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, credulous
I
Rube.
like the cut of your jib, Death Hunter.
So we talked about Roe last week. Obviously, I just don't think this has the juice that they think it's going to have. We're already a week past it, and the liberals have already moved on to the next thing. They're more excited about Johnny Depp or something that's going on there. But
They're still going crazy for it. They're still going crazy
the fact
for it,
that
but it
Amber
will
Heard
peter
has
out.
literally stepped in it.
Eventually, they'll have to. Eventually, they'll have to go back to work and realize that their money doesn't go as far as it used to, and be really upset about that.
Well, here's the problem.
But the jobs numbers are so good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the gas prices went up 20 cents yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't think. Listen, I get it. You really want to kill babies, but I'm more concerned about my gas prices than your ability to kill your kid. So
I need to be able to get to work.
Yeah. Well, how are you going to get to the Moloch temple to kill your child if you can't afford it? So, but anyway,
especially when you have to go out of state.
Yeah, you got to go out of state now. So that's a lot of these people haven't left L.A., New York, or San Francisco.
Don't worry. Amazon is going to pay their employees up to $4,000 to go murder their children. So that's cool.
Hey, good on Amazon. Good. Tesla, same thing. Elon Musk, the savior. He's going to pay for that too. But no, okay. So this is what I do want to get to, boys. I want to get to this because this has got me a little fired up today. This is a two-parter, so let's get into this. We are the show of I Told You So. We have rarely missed. Oh, whoa! Hold on. Oh, thanks for paying your taxes, Dusty.
Just happen to pay my taxes when Amazon's doing it for me.
Yeah, true. Exactly. Hey, let's take the money away from them and their abortion milk. But what I would say is this is two-parter. This is the show of I Told You So. Okay, you go back in the annals. What episode is this? Episode what?
260.
260. Go back to February 2020 when we sniffed out Rona before everybody else did. When I was really pissed that the thought of locking down was even an option. We did it for a whopping 3 or 4 weeks here in Florida, and Daddy DeSantis said, "No, that's not going to happen." And that's when he rose to prominence, where he is trouncing and destroying all of his competitors after narrowly escaping the guy who did coke off of a gay dude's butt. But we won't talk about that
coke or meth?
at all. It doesn't matter. It's all bad.
It does matter because I think that the gay prostitute OD'd on meth.
True.
At the time, so that's another important note.
He was doing meth with a gay dude in a Miami hotel. That's who could have been our governor, who would have locked down and destroyed our economy. But anyways, thank you, Daddy DeSantis, and thank you, Lord, for putting him in place. Here's what blows me away. How many times did we say, "Man, I don't know about this whole social distancing thing. I don't think it really works." And then that got proven that wasn't effective at all. How often did we say that the masks were a joke? They were, theater.
Often enough
It
to get a
was,
couple episodes removed off YouTube.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. We got removed for disinformation, even though it came out that the masks don't
I
do anything.
really want one of those CEOs for YouTube to go into an elevator, have somebody else go into the elevator with them, wear their masks, and have that other person fart and tell me they can't smell it.
True. Right. And then on top of that, we said on this show numerous times, it's not really safe to take an experimental anything, something that just came off the line, because one, you don't really know what the efficacy is of that said um, quote unquote vaccination that ended up becoming a therapeutic, which has the efficacy of 12%, which we found out last week and talked about that. But at the end of the day, we just said, this kind of seems screwy. Doesn't seem right. You probably want to wait. I think I made the comment that kings let the pawns go first for a reason in chess. There were some things said. Okay, let's get real. Everybody started getting quote unquote, well, not everybody, a small percentage got vaccinated. And then they're like, well, that's not working. We're going to force you to get these vaccines, which they tried to, and then it got shut down by the Supreme Court. Praise the Lord. But it did damage, and I think like 70% of America got vaccines. What was interesting, what I found, was the inordinate amount of young men collapsing as athletes on the court or on the field or at sporting events because, God forbid, they had to get that vaccine to make sure that they didn't die, but somehow started getting blood clots. And of course, that was labeled as misinformation. In the
Don't
bodybuilding
forget the
world, particularly,
myocarditis.
oh, yeah, the myocarditis, right? In the bodybuilding world, we had an inordinate amount of bodybuilders die this year. It was weird because most of them all got vaccinated up, and magically, all died. Now, bodybuilders die all the time. It is what it is. It's a weird sport where you're trying to gain as much muscle as possible with as low fat as possible, which wrecks your insides. But it was a lot of people dying, and it was always a heart thing, which is unusual. Usually, it's like kidney or liver failure from processing all the PEDs, but a lot of heart issues. Strangely, people were dying. And then last week,
I think
Kevin
with all the
Samuels. I don't know if
steroids, it would help out with the heart.
you would. Now, that being said, Kevin Samuels, our boy Kevin Samuels. I don't know if you guys know this guy. He was part of the manosphere, kind of roasted men and women alike for their hoeing ways and all that fun stuff like that, specifically in the black community. He was known for letting black women know, like, you're average, quit having sex with random dudes and having babies that aren't going to be your husbands, and you'll get in a better position. Crazy talk. Uh, he was pretty solid on some things, but he was really adamant about getting his vaccine. Well, he got his vaccine and he died at 57 last week or this week randomly from a heart issue. Strange.
Yeah,
Uh,
randomly.
DMX, who everyone tried to pass it off as he did a lot of drugs, which is not the case at all. He'd been sober for almost 10 years. And on top of that, he was an incredibly healthy guy, gets a vaccine and dies 2 days later. Again, another black celebrity victim of the
That was
vaccine.
right at the start of the vaccines being released.
Yeah, right. And remember, that was just a conspiracy theory, but all of his family's like, wait a minute, this guy's been sober for 10 years. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's super healthy, works out all the time, but somehow dies a day or two after getting the vaccine. You guys remember Stephen Colbert with the most cringy late night song of all time, Vaccines, da 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 da, vaccines, test positive for Rona. So much for that efficacy of 12% shot. Well, here's a fun fact.
The efficacy was 12% more than if you didn't get it. You didn't get the shot. So you have this much, and then you're just much better off with getting the shot.
Walgreens just dropped a stat this week that people that are unvaccinated have literally, I think it's like 10% less ability to get COVID-19 versus the triple and double vaxxed, which they begrudgingly put out there. But now here's the thing, just throwing it out there. and again, I'm not dissing vaccine people. I'm not. It is what it is. Do your choice. But Johnson & Johnson, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, got taken off of, the FDA took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine off of regular use. You can't use it in the United States of America right now. Guess why, Matty Matt?
Blood clots.
Massive
It's the
blood
clot
clot.
shot. It's the clot shot. It literally causes blood clots.
Yep.
Like we talked about a year ago in young men specifically, especially young boys, it causes blood clots. And they finally figured out, like, yeah, can't really do that.
Shouldn't really
It's
do
the
that.
only one that's not mRNA. This is the second time
Yeah.
it's been taken off.
Yep. Crazy.
For the same
But-
reason. It was taken off before because of blood clots, and they said, well, we think we fixed it. We turned down the dosage. Oh, wait, it still causes blood clots. Never mind.
A
It's
year
fine.
and a half to 2 years later.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, too, is
Well, Chad
Here's the other
says they want to push mRNA only as to the reason why they took it off.
maybe it's
Yeah,
possible.
it's possible, too.
Why not?
Very possible. Now, here's where I got pissed. I'm not shocked that these don't work because they were rushed. Let's get real. You rush anything, it ain't going to work. Now, here's the.
Yeah, just look at Russia.
here's
They're always rushing.
How to do it.
I had to. Come on.
Dad jokes.
You're getting
Right,
swatted.
so-
That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Okay, there's a bunch of you on Clapper now. Go over to twitch.tv/plausible foolishness. Go over there now. Gosh. Anyways, there's a bunch of them on Clapper just hanging out. Go to twitch.tv/plausible foolishness. I'm telling you, you get the full show.
Come see me.
Yeah, come see me. Come
You can
play
see
with
me now for almost a year. What was it? Almost
Yeah,
a year and a half.
you're a
You
mystery.
couldn't see me.
Hey, are we on YouTube live right now as well?
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on YouTube as well. If you go to YouTube, you can check us out on YouTube. Some of the people are like, I don't have Twitch. Go to YouTube. You can go to YouTube Live, go to Plausible
You don't
Foolishness.
need to have
and-
Twitch. You just go
No,
on
you don't
and
need
watch
Twitch.
it.
Just
You
go
don't
to
have
Twitch.
to have an account. Just watch it.
Just watch it on Twitch. But yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you. Now, here's the deal. I'm not pissed that these don't work. Okay?
You should be.
Listen, I was saying at the beginning, natural immunity is an amazing thing, right? Little monster. See. Anyways, sorry. But, okay, I'm not pissed that these don't work.
man.
Okay? I'm not pissed that they took a variant of the flu and made it the most hysterical thing of all time. Okay, I'm not pissed about that. Not mad. I'm not shocked that the efficacy is not great. I'm not shocked that this causes blood clots. That doesn't shock me. Nothing around this vaccine shocks me at all. Okay, like everything that the conspiracy theorists said ended up becoming true, and even the most implausible things are literally coming true about this vaccine. Now, here's the reality. This is what I'm pissed about. On the same day that the FDA takes the Johnson & Johnson vaccine off for the second time due to blood clots, Trump has a rally.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump gets on stage and introduces one of the Johnsons, who is the owner of Johnson & Johnson, and admits, well, he's a big money guy, so we got to have him up on stage with us, give him a clap, and nobody claps.
Yeah.
You're going to celebrate. You're going to celebrate the guy who puts out a vaccine that kills people from blood clots, from the thing that 99.9% of us would survive anyways, on stage with you, because your pride will not stop you because you're the author of Operation Warp Speed. Now, listen, kudos. Here's what I'm going to give Trump some kudos. You had to do Operation Warp Speed because the liberals would have played Corona out forever without a vaccine. Think about that. They would have literally tried their best to drag out a vaccine forever, which it usually takes, 5 years to do a proper vaccine. They would have drug it out forever. and they would have tried to keep the Rona stuff forever. You know what I mean? He is still pushing this as a victory. It is not a victory. And the tone deafness of the fact that he doesn't understand that his base rejected it from the beginning. Because let's get real. What Trump supporter was like, man, I'm excited to go get my vaccine.
No. Every single one of everybody I know was like, yeah, I'm skeptical of a government pushed vaccine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whether it's Trump or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, the government has a crap record on truth. Let's get real.
Mm-hmm. And the
if you follow me on
pharmaceutical
Facebook,
industry has a crap record on truth.
all of it does. Our educational system, crap record. Our freaking science, our scientists, crap record. Freaking the government, crap record. Keep going down the list. At this point, if you believe anything that's coming out immediately, you're a fool. I'm sorry, Normie, in PC. You're an idiot. Okay? And I know a lot of people that had to get that stupid vaccine because their work made you. What?
Okay. We subscribe to two different trains of thought. The first form of thought is everything we're talking about now plays true within 6 months to a year. So we are talking about news of the future now. The other thing, when news breaks on these networks and things, what is the first thing we say? Let's wait and see what happens.
Let's wait.
Let's find out what the facts are. Let's check on this. So we're talking about future events right now, and yet we're waiting for all the facts to come out. Funny, isn't it, that all of our facts tend to play out true, and all the media facts that are believe the media turn out false,
and are protected by social media, by Instagram. I got blocked on Instagram again because I've been spreading disinformation that's validated by the FDA. Think about that.
You got blocked.
They got pissed that I posted the fact that the FDA blocked Johnson & Johnson. But here's my thing with Trump. Trump, you have spent 4 years battling the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The last year you sucked at battling the swamp because you let Fauci in. You let what was that other slap chick that was the Fauci chick version who fearmongered and fear porned this whole thing out of preposterous. You literally lost your discernment in assessing whether people are effectively giving you information. You did such a good job up until the pandemic. Let's get real. That boy was cooking. He was on fire for 3 years. True or false?
Yeah.
True.
True.
He's killing it. He was killing it. He was doing it. But the moment there was a disease, let's get real. Trump thinks he knows everything about everything. Okay. But he defaulted to the quote experts for Rona. The moment that the experts were wrong over and over and over and over again, he should have fired them and got a handle of the situation like a leader is supposed to do. Because let's get real.
Like he's done multiple times. He fired every one of his staff because, listen, they are politicals in DC, and he fired them over and over again. And he fired a lot of his cabinet for the same reasons. They kept feeding him garbage.
But not Fauci and the Fauciites because he wanted to win an election, which ended up losing his election. Okay. Yeah. Now, that being said, the fact that he is still on warp speed and nobody's giving him kudos from his base on that. It's seen as it's a black eye on his administration. To be truthful, he had a very amazing administration. Okay. I give him props. The only reason we are talking about Roe versus Wade going away is because of Donald Trump. Okay. Because God put that crazy reality star in place. Okay. The reason why there was a lot of prosperity, shoot, I was able to buy a house during the Trump administration. I was able to find jobs quickly under the Trump administration. Gas was cheap. I was able to send my girls to private school and all that good stuff. Like a lot of the success recently for us has come from the Trump administration. Let's get real. But here's the thing. we got to call balls and strikes here, plausible foolishness, right? We got to call things out when they suck. I mean, would anybody disagree with that on this panel? Anybody
No.
say, well, you know what?
That's what we do.
Trump, no matter what, like here's the deal. So I have to
Well,
make.
we're not Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
Hey,
Don't even get me on Sean Hannity. I'm already.
Ray, sidebar.
Yes.
Hosier
Yes.
for life. Bro in the tank top looks jacked.
Who? Oh, let's
Come
go.
on, show him. There you go.
Listen, first and foremost, Dusty had the temerity to hop on this call and call me Jabba the Hutt. So I have one thing to say for him. He can read between the lines. So, but
First
your
off,
body's been in the gym.
You got to understand, Jabba's race, the Hutts,
Sure.
are blaster proof. That's how thick their hides are. They are super, super strong.
Listen. Jabba the Hutt is known for Jabba Wookiee and basically sexually assaulting Carrie Fisher. So at the end of the day, it's not a good look. I'm just saying.
All right. I just call you that.
But Carrie Fisher was every man's crush. Let's get real. Anyways, so I envy Jabba. Now, with that being said, here's the deal with Trump. I love Trump. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said on the show how many times Trump's got to run again. True or false? I've been the one that said on this show, he's got to run again.
He's got to run again.
Indicate this position, okay?
Do I want him to run again? Yes and no. It's a mixed bag for me because on one hand, I want Trump at the beginning of his presidency.
Yep.
I don't want Trump at the end of his presidency. I want that beginning Trump. I want that on fire. I want cannons be damned. Blow them out of the water. I want that. I want that Trump. I do not want at the end with the Rona, okay, Fauci, go ahead. Yeah, I got this. Okay.
Now, that being said, and I agree with you, Dusty, would I be pissed if Trump is president again? Not at all.
No.
I won't be. Now, to be fair, someone has to get in his ear and be like, don't talk about Operation Warp Speed. It wasn't a success. Okay? Yeah. We can genuinely look at it now.
I would amend that. He needs to twist it because there was one success out of Operation Warp Speed, and that was monoclonal antibodies, which are an effective early treatment for Rona that just disappeared because we got to push the jab.
That's true. Okay, so I'll give him props there.
Make it about monoclonal antibodies, not the jab, which clearly nobody wants. Dump Dr. Oz because he's garbage.
Dear Lord, yes.
And this new chick who's like just suddenly went viral because of her pro-life stance. Also, he's not. Dace talks about this. He hasn't said a word about Roe v. Wade.
Now, time out on the field, though.
Okay. First off, to be fair, Trump doesn't need to say a word on Roe v. Wade. He doesn't even need to touch that. That's already handled. He handled it by putting the justice that he picked in the places that he picked them because he knew the Constitution would hold up and they would enforce the Constitution, which does not advocate for Roe v. Wade. There's nowhere where Roe v. Wade can actually be constitutional. He doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to touch it.
Okay, well,
Matt,
we're talking about Trump here. He takes credit for everything that he possibly can take credit for, and yet he's not taking credit for this.
Now, he will when he starts running again, to be fair.
Well, what are these rallies if not him running again?
Okay, but this is what I would say. This is to back to Matt's point on Trump and Roe. Trump on the campaign trail said, I will appoint justices that will end Roe. He literally said that out of his mouth. I will do that. And he fulfilled it. He fulfilled that promise. The other thing, too, he's the only president that walked with the March for Life. He's the only one that's done it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Thirdly, the most important thing, he defunded Planned Parenthood. Okay.
Agreed.
He's the only one that defunded.
I'm not saying that he's like suddenly pro-choice again.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying. I just don't understand the choices he's making.
Okay, and that's why I'm going to say the statement that I'm going to say. And it's painful for me to say this. And Trump did this to himself. I don't want Trump to run president again. I said it on Plausible Foolishness. I don't want him to run for president again. And I'm going to tell you
So, so
All right. Good
here's
night,
my
folks.
question. Later. If it's not Trump, then who?
Hey, somebody hop on
Because
Facebook. My man John Adams is on Facebook right now. Somebody hop on John. He's trying.
Yeah, he's
Hey,
on
go to
YouTube.
twitch.tv.
He's on YouTube. I see him.
Interact with him. He's trying to talk to you there, Matt. You're
I
YouTube.
can't chat back to him
Hold on, I got
on
him.
YouTube,
But-
only on Twitch.
I'm going.
But
up
I
there,
see
my
what
man
he's
John.
saying.
But here's what I'm going to say. I know this is shocking for this audience. This is the first time I'm going to openly admit I don't want Trump running for president. I don't want it to happen because of a few things. I do not trust his ability to make decisions right now. Okay.
Mhm.
I think that Trump kind of sees the momentum and he's going to do way more damage as a kingmaker. That's an original statement from Dusty that I stole. Not gonna lie, Dusty said that sadly I have
Yeah,
to
but
give
not if
Dusty
he
some
keeps
respect.
picking people like Dr. Oz.
100%, 100%. Now, I think.
I'm putting your phone on the microphone.
Hold on, John's chatting me back. Okay, there he is. I got John. What up? It took me forever to get to YouTube. Sorry about that. But this is what I have to say here, man. At this point, I don't trust his ability to pick the right people, right? And Matt, you said it yourself. When you're picking Dr. Oz as an endorsement, a guy who clearly was for lockdowns, for masks, and for vaccines, that's a swamp pick. Okay?
Totally.
Massive swamp pick. If you are literally championing Johnson & Johnson the very day that their product gets pulled from the FDA, you're not thinking correctly. For some, and this happens to politicians, right? Politicians will come in, they'll make right decisions, they'll storm into the gates, and then they get corrupted, right? Ted Cruz is the perfect example of this, right? Ted
Yes.
Cruz,
Yeah.
he's the man, he's so conservative, he's this, he's that, and he's so sharp-witted at all these
He's going to do this. He's going to do that.
He does
Look
nothing.
what he's doing with that. What's he do? But stand in front of panels and go, here's a one-liner for you. There you go. I did it. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go back to my office now.
Yeah. Like he's a do-nothing, right? And I don't want Trump to become the do-nothing, okay? The guy has radically changed the Republican Party, I think for a good reason. Because one, I was not a Republican at all before the Trump train happened. Okay. I was a Ben Carson guy just by principle, right? We've talked about this before. I was a registered Democrat up until what, 2 years ago before the election?
Ben Carson, dear Lord, that would, if he would have been president, that would have been an awesome presidency.
But
can you imagine oh my gosh.
I don't know.
That would have been great.
I don't know.
Think he would. I don't think he would have. He's not a fighter.
He doesn't have the energy to.
Yeah, he's not, and that's the thing.
For the times,
at this point,
right?
At this
it's not
point,
that he wouldn't make good decisions. It's that he wouldn't have had the energy to plow through the hate and make it happen. Like again, this is back to the Steve Day show. America is not a country of laws. It's a country of political will. And,
yeah, that's true.
And so if you don't have the will, you don't get things done. And that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
In the thing, because like, it's not true that Ted Cruz has done nothing. Now he's done some stupid things and some things, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not conservative or right wing at all. But he's sponsored and started and written many bills. Now the problem is that they never got anywhere.
Yes.
Because either the Democrats are in power, or when the Republicans are in power, it's Mitch McConnell, and he's the epitome of a do nothing.
But that's my point. You can rabble rouse all you want to, but if you don't push back against even the leadership, what good are you? At least AOC pushes back against Pelosi. Where is the Ted Cruz pushback on McConnell? Where is it? So
Yeah,
my point is,
well, that's you don't do that in the esteemed halls of the
GOP.
of the sainted Congress.
No, get out of here. Get out of here.
I mean, but
Now,
that's how they talk about themselves.
yes.
And
But here's
it's
what I'm getting
garbage. No, I want Charles Sumner, talking about slavery, about to get his face beat in with a cane.
No.
Standing up to this crap, not polite discourse. And it's like, no, the time for polite discourse got kicked in the nuts decades ago.
Which Trump did, right? Trump destroyed that.
Yeah.
Right?
No. No. That's been dead for literally centuries.
The polite discourse wasn't dead. The need, the time for it is dead.
Oh yeah.
And what I'm saying is,
but Trump did destroy polite discourse, and it needed to be destroyed.
It needed to die. So it's politics, man. This is not patty cake, right? So when the other side is shooting bullets and you're handing them cakes, they're not the same, right? So we needed somebody to shoot some bullets back, which I give him props for. He's definitely changed the GOP to the point where I can stomach voting for them again. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm getting at. So to my point is this: I don't want Trump to run again. I don't think that he has. I think he has the juice to endorse, right? I think that he is the face of the Republican Party, but he needs to be the kingmaker and let a guy like DeSantis wreak havoc for 8 years, because that's exactly what is going to go down. And if I'm Trump, I'm setting him up, and then I'm going to set up Sarah Huckabee Sanders right behind him. Because at the end of the day, when you're talking about actual juice, who's the most popular politician in America right now? It's Ron DeSantis. Without a doubt, across the board, to the point where you have 85% of Democrats in this state agreeing with you. Because what does DeSantis do? All DeSantis does is just start smashing stuff. He is literally Hulk smash. He is Hulk political smash. And I want more and more of it. Did you see what he said today about communism? He has a national communist awareness for public schools here in the great state of Florida. I am so glad that there is a day dedicated to literally talking about the evils of communism. Imagine the liberal minds exploding across universities across the country right now.
Vice News said that was saying, talking about inflation, basically they said this on Twitter. Inflation is what it is, and Ron DeSantis can only talk shit about communism, right? And I responded to them and I said, only a shit media company like Vice would say telling the truth, talking shit.
100%. But think about that.
So awesome, man.
What can they do to him? What can they do to him at this point? What can you say about Ron DeSantis? Can you pull the racist card?
Oh, he's a bigot, homophobe, transphobe, racist.
Whoop-de-whoop. And guess what? Every time he shoots that down and plows forward.
Yeah.
Like a good Republican should.
Yeah.
Because he dismiss, and what's funny is he dismisses and moves on to the next thing. Like a Trump. The difference is
what it is. Like when he did at the news conference where the guy goes, the don't say gay. Where does it say that? Where does it say that? It doesn't say that anywhere in this bill. Why are you lying? Calling a spade for what it is, and then going right into what they were going to actually talk about.
Yep.
Calling it what it was. This is just you trying to grab attention and lying to people, and then going in and making his announcement. And it was phenomenally handled. The guy knows how to handle that sort of stuff. much better than Trump ever did. And that's why
100%.
I don't want him to run for president in 2024. I want him to finish out his gubernatorial because, God, he's good at his job.
Yes.
And I want him to
'Cause
freaking
here's the deal.
find somebody who is like him to replace him. You know?
Right?
Yes.
And I think the money ticket for the presidential race would be Ron DeSantis as president and Sarah Huckabee Sanders as VP.
Are you jumping on the Sarah Huckabee Sanders train?
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, ever since I saw her speak at the Trump rally in Orlando, oh
Yep.
my gosh,
She's a
the
beast.
woman
She's a beast.
is just a terror, and I love
She
her.
is. And they can't hoe shame her because she's not a hoe.
No,
They can't make fun of her like, oh, you're only getting this position because you're hot. That ain't there. All the general tropes. But think about it. All the tropes that they would use to minimize a Republican woman that they should be using against the
like they did for Sarah Palin.
Alaska. So, yeah, exactly.
I can
You
see
can't-
Russia from my house. They tried to play that joke.
Yeah.
Well, no,
The woman
that
really is
became-
smart.
that was an SNL skit that became part of the cultural lexicon in reference to her. That was a
Yeah.
skit. She never said that.
No,
Of
she
course.
never did.
Not once.
She said
she's very
something
smart.
slightly. Yeah, she is smart, but they made her out to be dumb.
A character.
That's the one
But
thing that they can
the
still
one thing
do.
she was talking about, was actually a real thing in that she does have to deal with Russia because Russia is literally 60
Yes.
miles off
Exactly.
the coast of Alaska.
Exactly. But they took that and they made it into that little blurb. Tina Fey says it, and then it becomes as if Sarah Palin herself actually said it. That's the one
but
thing
here's the
to look for, and it's so disgusting because these people are supposed to be feminists, right?
Yeah,
They're not.
they're not. They're not. They loathe
They're
the
communists.
conservative feminists.
They're communists, and they'll add whatever skin to that they need to win the hearts and minds of the people and bring about their stupid revolution. But
Matt,
Sarah
though,
Huckabee
real quick.
Sanders is very smart, and she's probably got the fire to not let that happen. Sarah Palin let it happen.
Yep.
And she was paired with John McCain, who was just a complete waste.
Disaster. Absolute disaster.
It just wasn't a good
waste of
situation
skin.
for her all the way around. A DeSantis Sanders would not let that become part of the cultural lexicon. It would be
they'd
squashed
destroy it.
immediately.
You would have to buy cups for the left if those two were together. Like the amount of picking, the amount of male phallus getting crushed in their wake
Rochambeau
would be yeah. I mean, it's so and the other thing too is this: the culture is not on the left's favor, and let me say this: they control all the main functions. They have nothing. Like, what has been the Let's Go Brandon from the left? We've got Let's Go Brandon, OK Groomer. I mean, you can keep going down the line here. SNL doesn't have the power, so they can't characterize anybody because nobody watches the show anymore.
That's true.
Well,
SNL's not a
people as
threat
well.
anymore because they're just not even freaking funny. Tina Fey is at least funny. She's a very funny writer.
Yeah.
Very funny. So that was a weapon that they could use. They don't have that weapon anymore.
They don't
No,
have it.
they don't have
No.
anybody funny.
Nope.
Think about it.
and
Who is
this-
funny that is an out and out leftist these days?
Nobody. Because when you got here's an example. When you
They're all
got
dead.
Jamie Foxx, Destin, Florida. Did you guys see the video of Jamie Foxx talking about Destin, Florida?
No.
It's like
Yeah.
during the pandemic, shocker, every celebrity came to Florida. Well, he goes to Destin, Florida with all him and his boys from LA. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's like hillbilly. And there's like Trump flags everywhere and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm out there on the boat wading in the water. And all these hillbillies come up to me and they're like, hey, Jamie Foxx, like your stuff, man. Good stuff. And he's like, those were the coolest people I've ever been around in my life. Those Florida people. When you got Jamie Foxx
He's
saying
like,
that, when
this
you
is what
got
it should
freaking
be. He's saying this is what it should be. They believe what
Yeah.
they believe. I believe what I believe. But we're human beings, and we just hang out and have a beer, and then go on with the rest of our day.
when you got Dave Chappelle getting attacked on stage and with a person with a weapon, and the guy's not getting a felony charge in the state of California, you've screwed the pooch.
You know
The
what's
most
interesting?
Go ahead.
David Spade had a really great insight on that I saw. And he was saying basically
Really?
the Will Smith slap, and then it led to Dave Chappelle because it broke the invisible barrier between the performer and the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So Will Smith going up there without repercussions and doing what he did kind of shattered that barrier, and now this crazy person thinks he can do the same thing.
Yes.
And now it's just they're destroying everything. These
But I'm glad they're
psychopaths.
destroying it. I'm glad they're destroying it.
Yeah.
Because you have no power. If you break your own legs and break your own fists, I don't feel bad for you that you can't fight. No offense.
Sure.
I'm excited about that.
But you know, the other performers out there who just wanting to, you know, like the other comedians who just want to like tell their jokes are in a much more dangerous situation now, you know?
Yeah.
But to your point, why would I ever perform in California again?
Was that Chappelle was in California?
He was in LA.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that was kind of maybe a mistake on his
If
part.
I'm Chappelle, if I'm a Jamie Foxx, if I'm anybody worth mentioning, I'm just going to go to red states and make a bunch of money because they actually work and they can pay for it. Think about that.
And they haven't lost
Why
their
would
minds.
why would I go to
Yeah.
Chicago and get shot up? Why would I go to LA and get attacked on stage? Why would I go to these places? And again, everybody's whining about the divide in America. I welcome the divide in America. No offense, I do. Because let's get real. If civil war breaks out between red and blue, who's winning that? One, and two, who's got the will to actually do that fight? Let's get real. I don't think that they listen. You're battling
That's a good
low
question,
T
actually.
simps. But think about it. You're battling low T simps versus a bunch of good old boys with "Don't tread on me" flags. Who do you think's going to come out on top of that one?
I mean, you're right. I think the will to fight is actually stronger on the left.
You're right. They'll start it, but do they have the will to finish it?
That was going to be my next point, but you stole it
Sorry.
from me.
Listen, we 260 episodes.
Evil Iron King. Damn you, Iron King!
I mean, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm not advocating for a civil war. I don't think that that's going to even happen. I don't think they have the balls with the guns to do that. Number one. I think that Democrats will push for that because they're hoping for pawns to go out and do what you've been saying.
That's the Marxist wet dream is the bloody revolution, right? You know, the Fabian socialists got us this far. You know, the incremental, slow change, but now they've tasted blood. This is what I've said since Obama. They tasted blood in the Obama administration, and they got the bloodlust now. Yeah. So they're just gonna keep going and going and going.
But here's the thing.
That's why they double down and triple down. They're not.
But my point.
Well, they're not playing politics anymore.
Of course.
We were talking about politics, but they're not actually playing politics anymore because playing politics means you don't say what you mean. You know, if things aren't polling well, you stop doing them. Mm-hmm. You know, because politics is about, you know, about maintaining the status quo. They're playing for keeps, really. They're done with politics, and they're just gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And so we have,
But
I
here's-
mean, but then we see people like DeSantis doing what he wants to do. And it's a
Yeah, I mean,
winning
what he
strategy
should
because what Americans want is what we should do. What, for the most part.
Now, I will say the housing issue in Florida is something that he hasn't tackled at all, and it is an issue that needs to be addressed.
What is the government supposed to do about that?
I don't know what they can do, but it's an
I
issue.
don't want the government interfering in the market. Granted,
But
the
the
Federal
other thing, too,
Reserve
is-
is already interfering in the market. They always do. It's what they
there's
were
nothing
designed
in
to
Florida
do.
stopping builders from building. There's nothing in Florida stopping builders from building. That's the thing. Like, especially from an investment standpoint, the reality is you have so many people moving here, like at an astronomical rate. You can't. It's a supply and demand thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You can't keep up with
It completely is, and it's driving people out of the market that, like myself, I was
Yep.
in the market 2 years ago, and I've been completely pushed out of it. There's no
Yep.
way I can afford
It's not going
even
to last
a
forever, though.
small house,
It's not
and
going to last
I don't know
forever.
how to.
You just
the
got to wait
bubble
it
will
out.
break.
Keep
Yeah.
saving money if you can,
Yes, I can.
and
And
the
I
bubble
am.
will break.
It will.
It may be we may be one of the last places for it to break because demand is so high, but
Yes.
it will eventually.
God, I hope so, because, dear Lord,
It has to. It
Well,
has to.
I
I mean,
Here's the thing.
eventually there's going to be
2008.
people that are going to stop coming.
Dusty, it is. Did anybody feel like it's 2008 again?
right?
Yeah,
Gas
definitely.
is insane.
I feel like it's like
Inflation is insane.
late 2007, where it's just and it's just exploding.
Levy's gonna break.
It makes me
You know
want
what
to
I
sell
mean?
my house.
So- here's the problem though. You sell too early. Then what? Like, you know what I mean? You sell
Well,
your house.
Sell my house, buy an RV, and live in an RV until the bubble breaks.
Hey, listen, dog.
Down
Hey,
by the river.
Take my extra, and then wait for the bubble to break.
Hey, listen.
I feel like
Down
I'm
by
missing
the
out.
river.
Hey, listen, man. If that is what you feel you got to do, I'm not going to judge you for that, bro. I'm all about that wildlife. You know what I mean? I'm about it. I like it, and you can pull it off. You can
Mhm.
do it. I'm just, but now to that being said, though, I think that a couple things. I think for me, what I want to stamp on this because I want to final thought this bad boy. So, because we've been rocking and rolling today. Thank you for everybody that's been watching today. We appreciate the interaction. Love that, and
We
seeing
love you
on
guys.
Twitch. Plausible Foolishness. Thank you so much. Especially Clapper guys. Love you guys over there. But head over to twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness. We're on YouTube as well, and we're on Facebook. But here's what I'm getting at. I'm sensing. Okay, like I wasn't around for the Jimmy Carter years, but I remember my grandpa talking about it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The madness of Jimmy Carter created the Reagan years. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, were they perfect? No. Iran-Contra is bad. Okay. There's a few things that happened during the Reagan years that were bad. But on the whole, Reagan years were pretty kick-ass. Just being frank. They rocked. Okay. Obama's years, because you got to think about it, you had the meltdown. Was the meltdown during Bush or Obama? What was the meltdown? 2008.
That was Bush Obama. It literally
Bush
is
Obama.
during that whole
right at the
transition.
end of Bush.
Now, Bush and Obama are both globalists. Okay, so they were doing the same thing. Let's get real.
And I
They were the
blame
exact
Bush just as much as I blame Obama in that whole thing. So
1,000%.
I don't want people
Those-
thinking that Bush was so great and Obama was so
Bush-
bad. No, they were both bad. They were both terrible.
Listen, I always joke with people. I thought Bush sucked then, and I still think Bush sucked now. and listen, I got heat in my small college, my small Christian college, and I'm not dissing my Christian college. I loved being in a Christian college, but I was one of the lone guys. I was like, Bush sucks. This is not good. But he says born again, but that's not what he means. Skull and bones, look it up. But anyways, sorry, sorry, sorry. It's the Alex Jones coming
Not
out.
sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. But my point is this: it takes globalists to get to a Trump ears. It takes a really bad globalist, a puppet globalist, to get to the next phase. I'm starting in my eschatology to not see things getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I feel like it's just a relapse of what's happening before. I think the difference is this: when you sit on eschatologically and say, "Oh, things are just getting worse and worse and worse and worse," my first question is, what time period would you have liked to live in that's not now?
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
Which time period? Do you want to go to the 1800s? Well, guess what? Me and my wife can't get married. I wouldn't exist because those mulattoes wouldn't exist very long. Let's get real, okay?
No,
1700s.
you'd be working. You've been working great.
Yeah, true. I'd just be working to death in a mill or something. But
Yep.
let's get real, right? Like, what time period would you want to go back to that was better, right? And then the purveying thought process in evangelical circles is, well, so can't you see it's getting worse? Here's the problem. I watched a country that started with slavery not have slavery anymore. I watched a country that had deep actual racial issues back in the 60s and 70s dissipate those things, like real racial issues. I'm watching a country that voted to kill babies recant that before my very eyes right now. And yes, it's going back to the state level. And yeah, there'll still be states that kill babies, but guess what? There were still states that had slavery before we didn't have it anymore. Okay.
Yep.
I keep seeing technology advance. I keep seeing more believers show up. Now we think, because we think in the Western bubble that everything's going to crap in a handbasket. Well, guess what? There was a period before the West. The central location of followers of Christ was Jerusalem until they got pushed out by the roads of Rome. And guess what? Then it moved west, and then it became Rome, and then it got pushed out to Britain, where the hub of Christianity was Britain, and then it got pushed out to America, where we're kind of the hub now. And eventually it's going to get pushed out. Now, here's the thing: the advancement of Christ keeps going farther and farther. Especially, I don't have to, I'm preaching to the choir with the with the other king who works for an organization I cannot discuss on this show whatsoever. But the advancement of the languages of Christ Jesus is spreading. It's advancing more and more and more. Technology is getting better, and to the point where, yeah, is there still immorality out there? Absolutely. But let's get real. There's still Moloch worship, but guess what? It's finding more and more defeats as technology advances, and it's getting harder and harder to worship Moloch and Baal. It's getting tougher to do that. And what I'm starting to see is, hey, listen, we didn't think it could get any worse with Bush and Obama, and we had the Trump years. Okay, we God took this egotistic psychopath and made him a decent president. He gave us a Nebuchadnezzar out of nowhere. He's given us a crappy king in Joe Biden to kind of wake us all up to like what's going on. I'm seeing the literal defeat of grooming as we speak right now. I'm watching the sex trade get exposed more and more with the Epsteins of the world, where people are aware of what the heck's going on, which we didn't know before.
That's the thing, is that yes, all these bad things are happening, and the culture seems like it's just garbage, and it is. But so many people are waking up. Why are we doing this show? Because we woke up. Why are you watching
We wanted
the show?
to do something.
Because you woke up.
You woke up.
and why is DeSantis able to do all the things he do and raise 143 million people? Because $1 million, because the state of Florida kind of woke up.
Florida used to be purple Florida, which is deep red now. Think about that. Purple Florida is deep red now. Virginia is red now. Think about this. Like the blue crap, it's fading. Ohio used to be purple. It's insanely red now. Okay. And I know that because I'm from that,
Michigan was insanely blue. Now it's purple.
it's probably like there's advancement now. Does that mean that the Republican Party is the savior of Jesus Christ? No, but let's get real. They're more beholden to conservative thought processes that are conform with the Word of God. And I see advancements happening over and over and over again. So when I tell people like don't lose heart, like don't lose heart. We should be celebrating and praising God. I was like literally crying. I will admit that on the show when I found that Roe versus Wade is probably going down because I've been advocating that for a long. Y'all know that I've been advocating that for a long time. If you know my story, okay. Like I am literally, I am the excuse that most of you use to kill your babies. Let's get real. I am. You guys all think that the 99% of abortions that are literally voluntary are excused because of rape and incest. Well, I'm the product of a rape. My life has value. Okay. I think my mom's pretty excited that she didn't have the choice. She knew that it was a life and didn't want to kill me. And I've given her 3 granddaughters. At one point, I employed like a lot of people when I was running my own company. I think my wife's pretty excited that I'm here. Let's get real. I'm on this show. So for some reason,
you're here, buddy.
Around. Okay.
I'm pretty excited you're here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But my point is this. What I'm getting at is do not buy into the narrative that things are getting worse and worse and worse. What I want you to do is buy into the narrative that all power has been given to Christ Jesus. The kingdom is advancing, and I really think it is. And I think I'm seeing it and watching it in real time right now. I am watching it in real time. I'm watching for years. They tell me that things are getting worse and worse and worse and worse. But let's get real. Nobody wants to live at any other time but right now. I'm watching the advancement.
And they don't want to live in any other country.
Nope. But
no.
Let's get
despite all their blustering.
We're watching a Democratic-controlled everything at the federal level fail at everything. We're watching all blue voted in because Orange Man bad. Group of politicians lose their principal issue, which is killing babies. We're watching it before our eyes. We're watching God be in control of everything, like He said He was going to be. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to be alive. I hate to steal that from Alex Jones, but what a time to be alive. Like literally, what a time to be alive. And it's going to get better. But here's the thing. Part of the kingdom of God is advancing. Part of the kingdom is being on attack. And I think that too long, the church in the West has been in a defensive posture. And I think we're finally kicking back. Do I know if DeSantis is a Christ follower or not? Probably not. But God's using him for some reason. Trump is not a Christ follower, but God used him, okay? And He's using the most unlikely people to advance the kingdom in the right way, in the right direction. And I think it's going to get really, really good here really, really fast. Because let's get real. 20 years ago, when you and I were coming through, we were coming through college and high school, the moment that somebody said, oh, there's a conflict somewhere, let's go send a bunch of our troops. We were gung-ho, right? Iraq, Afghanistan, all this stuff. We didn't bite on Ukraine to the point where they're doing U2 concerts and the first lady can somehow fly into a war-torn country and there's no issues whatsoever. Like there is the zeitgeist has been busted. The deceptions have been busted, and I love watching it. So that's my final thoughts. And if you're a clapper, you got to head over to twitch.tv/plausible foolishness. I'm kicking you off, and you got to come listen to these guys' final thoughts to the end of the show. Give it up to Dusty or Matt.
So this is the news for tomorrow. What we're talking about right now is what is going to be on the news in the next 6 months to a year. You call us conspiracy theorists for thinking what we're thinking, and yet everything that we've done in the past has proven true. We're not soothsayers. We're not people who see the future. No, we just see what's in front of us and go, this is the most likely outcome. This is why we think it's the most likely outcome. And boom, the most likely thing happens more often than not. And when we're wrong, we call ourselves out on it. We thought this, well, this is what happened. We thought that, well, this is what happened. Okay, well, we were off by a little bit on that. Fine. I'm okay with being wrong. I have no problem with being wrong. What I do have a problem with is lying to you. We don't do that here. We do deep research. That's what Tuesday nights are usually about, is diving into the articles to find out where is the truth in what's going on in our world today. Because that's what we want to try to bring to you guys. And hopefully we can do it with a little bit of entertainment flair. I keep
Did you say Ric Flair? Woo!
I keep
Very excited.
Ray for the entertainment flair. I just bring the truth. And then Matt brings the conspiracy.
What?
But anyways,
Should be Ray that
my
brought the
final
conspiracy.
thought is this. If you guys like our show, you like what you see, you like what we do here, and I hope you really do. I really hope you like it. Because I know I really enjoy hanging out with these two guys. They are great, phenomenal people. Help us spread the word of this show. Help us reach more people by sharing, by liking, by donating. That helps us out so much. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to every single person that donates whatever they can, whether it's $1, whether it's $10, whether it's $100, whatever you're comfortable with giving. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I appreciate everything that you guys do. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you keep watching. Check us out, twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness. Matt, final thought.
Okay, so we're watching all these people be absolute lunatics in the public square regarding Roe v. Wade, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, they're saying some evil crap. Just absolutely satanic, monstrous stuff, right? And it's so easy to look at them and say, that's the enemy. I mean, they're making themselves out to be our enemies. It's true. They are doing that. But we have to really remember what the Bible says. That we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, and so on and so forth. What is he talking about? Ray mentioned it multiple times. These people that we're saying this monstrously evil garbage, are caught in the throes of serving their master Moloch. And Moloch is a real entity. He really exists. And he's an evil SOB. Right? That's the thing that we have to remember. There is a supernatural realm. There is a spiritual realm, and there are entities in power on this planet, and they're people who are caught in their thrall. Moloch is our enemy, and his worship is anathema to everything that the kingdom of God stands for. But as a Christian, we realize that but for the grace of God, go we. You know, we could very easily be these insane people talking about ripping little bastards out of their wombs and and clapping it up like it's awesome to murder babies. You know, we could be them. And so, as much as it, like, the people in power still burn, the people in power who promote this stuff, they're the ones who burn me up. They're the ones that burned Jesus up. You know? They're the whited sepulchres and the pit of vipers. and just the people that Jesus rebuked constantly, but the person out in the street, clearly demon possessed,
Yeah.
that's who Jesus healed. All right. So the person out in the street saying this stuff is not our enemy. We should take pity on them, and we should pray for them, and we should pray that they be released from their bondage, in this case to Moloch. But there's plenty of other beings out there that enthrall us. And we should focus our attacks on what the Bible tells us is the real enemy. And so we should be praying that Moloch is bound and cast into the lake of fire, and that baby killing is no longer a thing on this planet. That's just my 2 cents.
Strange.
I'd pick it up and spend it. Take us home, baby.
That's where my vision has been directed lately.
It's spiritual.
It's spiritual and it's real.
Yeah.
And it's yeah.
To your point, we have been sheltered from that for a very long time, and thank God eyes have been revealed to this. And I think the again, another advancement of the kingdom, right? The internet can be used as this evil thing. It definitely can, but it is also a mighty weapon used for good. And I think that most of us are not aware of this stuff.
Any truly free market is.
Yes.
It can be both. Any truly free market will be both.
I mean, let's
but
get real.
Good is more powerful than evil.
Every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, brother.
Amen.
Amen. I'm with you, dog.
So
I'm with you.
If that sounded like crazy talk to you, I implore you to do research. Read some books. We can. You recommend Judgment of the Nephilim by Ryan Peterson. Unseen Realm by Michael Heiser is fantastic as well.
Yep.
That's just a couple.
Wilson loved that book, except for the Calvinist part. He hated that part.
What's that?
I was just thinking about that. Douglas Wilson reviewed the Unseen Realm. He said it was phenomenal. He just hated the Calvinist part. But
Isn't he a Calvinist?
Who? Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, Douglas Wilson is 100%. But the guy Heiser's not. Heiser's very
okay.
Yeah. So he was like, just stay in your lane. But I do want to read the book. I do want to read it.
Yeah, well, Calvinism is garbage anyway, so.
I'm indifferent.
Anyway, on that note, you've been watching Plausible Foolishness, the home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free to make wild statements. And the taxes are voluntary. And we serve freshly roasted liberal logic. Now it seems like every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 or 7:30.
Don't overpromise.
Yeah, but definitely every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Sometimes on Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
But
Trump pissed me off today. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought it because I wanted to talk about. We were going to talk about the same thing. So.
Yeah.
And we do all of these things on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, anywhere you can get a podcast, Instagram. I'm more active on Twitter lately during the week. And, so maybe you can catch us there.
I used to be on Instagram.
You used to be on Instagram?
Oh, I've got a 90-day suspension on Instagram.
Oh, that's right. Well, you still got the R group account, right?
Yeah, I mean, but that's shadow banned to the what's. 90% of our stuff they won't even let come out just because of the stuff we've posted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Cry, baby, cry. Cry your little lie.
What we
Hey,
need to
listen.
do, I mean, I think we need the Twitter seems to be, sort of wide open country right now. So
We'll
we
see.
should direct our
Efforts.
our efforts towards Twitter. I don't know.
I might do over there. I
Yeah.
started a page over there.
Yeah, I saw
We'll
you.
see.
I saw you.
I like getting in the fray, though. I like fighting, so that's my thing.
Yeah.
Well, and it's different when the platforms give you a chance. But I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
Send us home, baby.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, that's it. Catch us on Instagram and Twitter too, but not Instagram because we're shadow banned and he's blocked. So, try to catch us on social media if you can, but you can definitely find us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Peace out. God bless. See you Thursday. Excuse me. Yeah. Good night.